Good morning and welcome to the Laws of Life webcast network. I'm Blanca, and today's show is the Laws of Business Breakthroughs, hosted by business expert Bamal Shah. How are you, Bamal?
Great. Awesome. Thank you very much for having me here. I'm so
Uh,
excited about today's topic.
it is my pleasure. And as I always say every Monday, this is the way to start the week to get us fired up about our business and bring your questions. Let's get a spicy conversation going. Let's get the brain cells fired up and energized. So what are you teaching us today, Bamal?
So I'm going to ask you a quick quiz question. What is one word that has taken up more lives than anything else you can think of combined?
I don't know. You tell me, boss.
Hurry. That is one word. When we hurry, think about when you're driving, when you hurry, when you're making decisions, when you hurry, when you're in business, you hurry. When you hurry, you're creating stress for yourself. When you try to do things for your customer, you hurry. Things every single place. When we try to rush because we have so many things in our plate and we want to just get things done or move, um, we actually create chaos in our lives. We actually create problems. We actually hurt ourselves. We actually create mental stress, which could lead to so many things. And stress, there's so many reasons for stress. And when you take a step back and understand, so hurry does not help. You need to take step by step approach, and less is more. Less is more.
That's
That's
true. I think we almost need seasons to plan, seasons to execute, and not always be executing. Do you agree with that statement?
So here's the thing about executing. You do need to execute, but you need to have a long-term goal, and you need to have, what is my main long-term goal? And everything that you do for the day, you need to at least, even our brain works very rapid. We're very smart, and if we think about what we want to do, think about how what I'm doing right now connects to my 25-year vision, my 5-year moonshot, my 3-year goal, my 1-year goal. What am I doing right now that is taking me to that step? Okay, now sometimes, many a times, you have to do the grinding work, and you have to do it because you may be the only one that is able to do it at that moment. But at that same time, you want to ask, in the long term, should I be doing this? If not, then I need to be making decisions of who I need to bring in. Do I really need to hire somebody? There's so many resources available, and even due to COVID-19, there's so many people working from home remotely that you can take advantage of. Even though COVID-19 happened, and we have so many things that, yeah, we are really things that make us feel that, okay, our health is at stake, our life is at stake, things that, work is at stake, businesses are shutting down. But at the same time, there's some good things that it has taught us, that, okay, you know, do we really need to go meet in person? We can do it via Zoom. Do we really need to do this, in office? We can do it from home. So there's so many companies who realize that employees can still be productive working from home and get 2 to 3 times or 5 times as much just doing things remotely. So that's hurry is one word that we should step back and think about, that what are we hurrying for? What is the purpose behind it? That's and I connected to Navy SEALs. The reason they're so successful, they have a motto: slow as steady, steady as fast. So how they go fast, your ultimate objective of hurrying is to go fast. So you should actually go slow to go fast. So when you understand, what are the exact steps you need to take, and you go very slow in each step, so you become steady and you understand, and you make it a habit that, okay, this is how it works, and you blend it into your routine, and then you can go rapid and fast. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes perfect sense. I think what I really, when you say that, it just makes me realize we have to slow down, examine what we're doing procedurally, process
Yeah.
wise,
Yeah.
and then we can execute. But
Right.
without the foundational plan in place, you're treading on thin ice. You need a
Yes.
solid foundation, otherwise you could crash.
Right. Absolutely. And since we were born, we were asking our parents the question why, right? Maybe your children or your teenagers, you've heard this question from your children so many times, right? Why? But we don't ask that question to ourselves many a times. And we should be asking the question.
Yeah, you're right. Why? Why? Well, let me ask you a question. You know, a lot of people's why is they enjoy doing it. They say that it's their passion. But I think that's where we have to always be careful that our passion is our business. Sometimes they're not always the same thing. So people
Right.
do it and they do it and they do it, but they're not earning any income doing it. And the question is why? Why?
Right. So
Are they
let
doing
me,
the right
yeah,
thing?
and they should be absolutely, and they should be asking that question. So if you're having fun because it's your passion, you love to do what you're doing, but you're not making money, it's not good, right? Because that fun and that passion is not converting into dollars and cents, right? But if you're making money and not having fun, that's not also good either, because eventually that money will get worn out. You will not enjoy what you're doing. So you should always think about, I want to do something that I'm passionate at, and I want to do something that makes me money. So here's what I
Uh-oh. Looks like we have a little technical difficulty here. We'll wait for Bamal to come back in a minute. But I'd love to see all of you engaging and being part of the conversation. You back, Bamal?
yes, I am here. I've been
All
here.
right. So the question on our minds today is hurry. What are you hurrying right now? Tell us where you are in your business. And I love this saying, slow is steady, steady is fast. And that we have to go slow to go fast. Is this
Right.
a question of writing every thought down? How do we go slow? What is your preferred process as a business
No, I
consultant?
have I have created a tool called Process Innovator, and what that does, it breaks it down into every step into tiny little elements and micro elements, and helps you, go slow and steady and understand why we're doing this step. And earlier you asked about passion and making money. So this is where you can connect each step to your passion and do everything with passion, and you understand your skill sets. Ultimately, your craft is what makes you money. Learn about your craft, learn about what you're really good at, and that's the skill set that will translate into dollars. So to learn your craft, to learn your skill set, you first have to do everything with passion. Okay, you have to do and understand where you excel, and once you do that, you'll be able to convert that into dollars, and you'll be able to use that tool. So if they scan the QR code, they'll be able to get that tool, and be able to take the next steps and go slow and steady on each step. And then once you do that, you break it down into three different buckets. Like a very simple strategy: things that you need to stop, things that you need to start, things that you need to scale. What do I need to stop doing? And that's the number one thing. You need to eliminate first before you add. Multiplication happens by subtraction, not by addition. By addition, we just add overwhelm and stress. You keep on adding, you're overfilled and you're overwhelmed.
That's
So,
true. That's true. And this is such good advice. And anybody in the audience has a question about today's topic, feel free to ask a question and win a book with Bamal. Take a picture of the QR code. I'll also put the link tree on the screen. And Bamal has a host of business tools, one called the Process Innovator. So tell us about a little bit more about the Process Innovator. What
so
does
the
that
process,
look like?
the process in order, consider like a fist. Okay, you have power in your fist, right? When you put your fingers like that and punch. So a process in order breaks that step into five key elements. Okay, and those five elements are like, what is the end result I'm looking from each step? Okay, why am I doing, the second is, if you had a magic wand and you can do it in the most effective way, how would you do it? Okay, how would be a dream come true way of doing and achieving that result? The third is, how am I doing right now? And many times the how is not how you do it, but it's who can do it for you as well. Because another word you can make from how is who, right? So do you need to necessarily do it? And that's the next question, is who should be doing this? And the last is, what's the ideal time frame? So in how much time this step should be done? And that helps you eliminate steps in the process. Why we should. I can tell you a story about customers, and this company, it cost them so much money because the same word, hurry. So the company, it was a technical, software company. They used to create, all the platforms and websites for clients, and they were to do it in a rush. Now, because they were doing it in a rush, 80%, more than 80% of their customers would call back to fix things because they weren't done right in the first place. It cost the company, on an average, every single day, more than 200 hours between 53 employees.
Oof.
I mean, imagine the cost. And they're not getting paid for this because the customer already paid for this. The customer is just asking to fix what was not done proper in the first place that they paid money for. Now the same people have to spend extra time, and the company has to shell out extra money for their labor for fixing things that weren't done right in the first place.
Oof. That's
Right?
expensive. I mean,
That's
basically, they're spending their own money to fix their own process. And what kind of business was this?
software consulting technique.
Software consult. Oh, that. Well, see, any type of service related business, I think a lot of people don't realize that time is the widget we sell when you provide service. Lawyers sell their time, software developers sell their time, coaches and consultants sell their time. So if they're constantly having to correct the time, then they're basically reducing, they're having to give away free time. They're
Right.
losing thousands of widgets. It's crazy.
Right. So what we did is we created a complete, process using the process innovator. We created a checklist, and we had signature requirements, and no job would pass until all of these checkpoints were tested.
Wow, no
And-
job would pass. And
right.
did they have a separate person doing a
Yes.
compliance check?
Yes.
Interesting.
So and it would not go to the customer until it had been tested and seen.
And this was your client? This was a client that you
Yes.
handled?
Yeah. So this is how, going slow, like what are we doing here, and taking the time. Sometimes if and think about this, if you want to make a leap, if you want to make a jump, you can't jump standing up, right? How far can you jump? You have to run back 20 feet or run up to the point so you can jump forward or jump high. Now if you want to jump high, you need a stick, you need a leverage, so you can jump tall and you can jump.
You have so many great analogies. It blows my mind. But it is true. Yeah, you can jump spontaneously, but you're not going to get a lot of air. If you want the
Right.
real air, you need to use all the tools, the head start, the planning, the process. So, what is the maximum jump you think is physically possible and figuratively?
It's entirely in your mind. Okay, it's entirely whatever you decide. But again, you should be careful about what you wish for, because let's say, and think about it, like, so I want to make $1 billion, right? I want to make the biggest jump. Well, what does $1 billion mean? Don't have financial goals as to, I want to think about what problem that you want to solve that creates a massive impact, right? So, for example, I want to cure chronic illness. I want to make technology easy. I want to make pioneers out of entrepreneurs. So, which has a massive purpose, which is money is not the ultimate objective. And when you do that, you make a big traction. You make a big progress, because money is not the factor, right? Because money is just a means of providing some resources, right? You have certain. So the question is, do you really need that money, that kind of money, to get what you want? What is a dream come true experience that you want? I want to travel. I want to take so many vacations. I want to go on vacation every weekend. Okay, fine. How much money would that take? Where do you want to go on vacation? I want to drive an RV. Whatever that takes. Okay, when you add up all those numbers, that number is a different number than what you originally thought for. And then you plan accordingly and say, okay, how do I get there? So
I love it. So, you do believe that the personal wants factor into the business goal?
absolutely. Business is a piece of your personal needs. So, if you draw a circle, business is an integrated factor. So when we talk about work-life balance, it's actually work-life integration.
Wow, that's remarkable. I
Yeah.
never thought about it from that point of view. I always, and maybe we're thinking too small on our personal wants. We have to think bigger on our personal wants in order to be more motivated for our business wants.
Absolutely. And that's a driving factor. That is the driving factor. Because what's the point? Let's say if you had all your business life, but your personal life is messed up. How is that going to make you feel, good about yourself? How is that going to make you feel purposeful about your work? You're
That's
going to feel purposeful about your work in two ways. One is you're creating a proper balance, or two is there's a proper integration of people around you.
Oh, we have a question from Lizeth. What advice would you give? This is Lizeth, the host of the Laws of Epic Beauty. What advice would you give to someone who's going through that same back and forth, and the company wants to keep charging extra even though things aren't done right?
So here's what I would say. Take a step back. The number one, why is that back and forth created? So either it is the communication expectations from customers that is laid out in the beginning and they're not clear as to what to expect. So you have to look at it, and the process innovator is a perfect tool for you to look at it and see why is this back and forth happening in the first place. So if you can eliminate the back and forth, you eliminate the extra charge that you want to charge the customer. The customer doesn't have to pay more, and everyone is happy, and you make more profit. So you can, first of all, say, okay, let's look at the process. Let's see how we can do this in less time and provide a better result to the customer. So if you do it in less time, you increase your profitability. You do it in, you also have to charge only the same, and you make more profit, and the customer is happy too. So that's a perfect. In fact, I'm doing a workshop next week. If she wants to, if you said you want to join, it's right on building the proper process and using the process innovator to walk through and eliminate the back and forth.
That's next week.
Yeah, next week.
And how do people register? And
So if they go to, if they scan the QR code and go to my events page, and there's an events page there, and you will see all kinds of events and dates that are there. I have more than like 15, 16 events on Eventbrite.
That's incredible. Bimal, when do you sleep?
Hey, 9 p.m. I belong to the 9 p.m. club. So when you belong to the 9 p.m. club, you belong to the 5 a.m. club, right?
That's absolutely true. Sleep is such an important element of being a successful entrepreneur too. Well, this is so Lizette, thank you so much for your question. I hope that answers your question.
If Lizette wants to give her email or something, I'll send her a free copy of my book, because anybody who asks a question.
Lizette has a follow-up. She said, well, what's happened is she hired a contractor. They didn't do the work properly. What's your advice to her?
So hire slow. Again, go slow as steady as fast, right? So hire slow. Whenever you hire a contractor, go slow on the hire. Don't rush to start the job. Whether you're doing independent contracting work or whether you're hiring an employee, hire slow, fire fast. So it goes for everybody, including independent contractors that you hire. Hire slow. Do not go fast. So the challenge here you happen, I don't know how you went about hiring that contractor when you're going back and forth. Did you go through the process where everything was dotted, and everything was understood? And you had an exit, even if you're working with an independent contractor, have an exit strategy. Said, if the work is not performed by this date, these milestones are not, I'm exiting, so you have to do an exit strategy out of the contract so you can work with someone else.
That's very true. You do have to have an exit strategy and a strategy where you know exactly what's promised, but if they obviously have some communication with them, write them correspondence and have them
corrected with payments. If they're independent contractors, I've seen so many times, especially in Florida, when you're working with construction and other places, you give out a large deposit up front, or you give out a lot of money up front, and the contractors run away with the money, and they don't do the job, or they do half the job, and then the remainder of the job is not done. So Absolutely. That's what you need to do. Don't pay in full. If you're working with independent contractors, break it up in payments so your loss is minimized. So let's say you pay 20%. Hey, if you hit this milestone, I will pay you. And if you hit this milestone by this date, I'll make the next payment. But if you're not, then I'm not. So your loss is minimized as well. Because there's a lot of people especially in Florida, you pay the contractors 50% or you the full payment. Boom. Yeah. Next thing, you probably don't even hear from them.
Yeah, no, that's true. I myself have been a victim of contractors, and even it's a very upsetting thing. You have to structure the agreement in such a way
There are
that
a
it
lot of people
protects.
who would use false license numbers. Okay, they would use incorrect license numbers, someone else's license numbers, thinking that they're licensed and insured, and they may not be licensed. Now, the good news is I personally been through this, so I know, and I can share this with the audience. There's a Department of Enforcement in Florida. So if for some reason any contractor, anybody, didn't live up to them or took your money and disappeared, you can file that because they have to post a bond, and that bond is posted by everyone else. You can actually get your money back depending on the
Oh,
amount of the money.
is
I
this for
actually,
contractors or any
yeah,
type of building contractors? You're talking
yes,
about, yeah.
yeah, building kind. But there,
Okay.
yeah, people who have to post a bond, people who have to post insurance and all that. Then the money is funded from that bond to protect consumers from that type of thing.
Well, that is so valuable, so incredibly important. And Bamal, once again, you're sharing expertise, and these conversations are incredibly important for us to keep having, for us to keep motivating each other every single week, and for us to protect one another. So, Bamal, thank you for teaching us so much. Everyone can take a picture of the QR code. I've also placed Bamal's link tree on the screen, so you can just go to your browser and click linktr.ee/ the 1 year breakthrough, or take a picture of Bamal's QR code. And he's got over 40 links. You can register for his process class. I'll be taking it, that's for sure. Bamal's helping me as my business coach. And I'm a person that has 26 years of business experience, but nobody got to the Olympics without a coach, as Coach Rochelle Schwartz says. We all need a coach. So find a coach today. I highly recommend Bamal. It's a great way to start the race slow and make sure you can make the jump of your
And, we talk about the topic today, and imagine the question that we got was about going slow because she hurried in, Lizette maybe hurried in hiring the contractor. So it's a live example of why you need to go slow. When you go
right.
slow, you go fast.
That is exactly right. And I have to tell you, I want to thank you, Lizette, for your question. I will do an email introduction to Bamal. Bamal, if you could be kind enough to send one of your books to Lizette for being engaged in the conversation today. And maybe you can send her some information about your
Yeah,
courses.
I'll send her the information about the event on the process innovator as well. Absolutely.
Amazing. And Lizette, you both should come to networking tomorrow so you and Bamal can network with each other. I know you have a client on Tuesday, so it's
Yeah,
hard
I
to
have,
make it.
yeah, a large company. I'll try to make it if I can, definitely.
All right, everyone. Remember networking tomorrow at 11, and remember all this wise advice from Bamal Shah, the host of The Laws of Business Breakthrough. Have a beautiful day, everyone, and stay productive, efficient, and successful. We'll see you
Thank you.
next Monday. Thank you,
Thank you,
Bamal.
Monica. Thank you very much.